All right, so I got a hell of a question I'm going to ask. How do we win at the game of life? And I'm going to answer that. And I want to start off by going, in order for us to win at life, we have to have an aim. We have to have direction. We have to have something, and a meta goal, a meta vision, something that drives our direction in all facets of our life, across all time. Now, let me give you a direction in terms of gameplay. I think that we all secretly in our minds believe that we're part of a game, or at least a movie, right? And we're the superheroes and or villains and or Eeyores of our own movie. But if we were to gamify our life and we were to look at the map of Africa as our territory, if I played the game of South Africa, right, I would play a finite game. So if I went east and west and south, well, I would play a very finite game, right? I would only have South Africa, its cultures, its people to play. And I mean, that's a big game, but it's not a big enough game for your whole life, right? So what if I played north as a direction? So what if I chose the right direction from the word get-go? And I knew that if I played south, I would limit myself. If I played east and west, I would limit myself. But if I went north from southern Africa, I could go through the vast majority of the African countries as I make my way to the ultimate destination, which we could think as Cairo. Okay, so if I started off from the word get-go with the right direction, I get to play the biggest game, the absolutely biggest game. That would be the meta goal, right? Because as I went through each country, I would learn new languages, new foods, new cultures, meet new people, have new experiences, and each one of those things would increase the points of my life, right? Okay, so if we were to take our lives across the 5 primary categories: mental, physical, communication, friends and family, right, professional, and finally spiritual, what could be the ultimate game that we play? What could be the ultimate aim? What could be our meta goal, our meta vision? And to me, I think the answer is self-mastery. Self-mastery is Cairo. If we were to take on self-mastery as the ultimate game, and as we started progressing in each one of these categories of our life, as I started increasing my cognitive quotient, and as I started looking after my body, and as I started creating meaningful connections in friends and family and work, and as I started building my professional proficiency and my knowledge, and as I started understanding what sets my soul on fire, and taking on a sport like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or whatever it is that you do, and as you start doing all these things, what happens is, and your aim is self-mastery, what happens is you start winning. And then in each one of these categories, the sum starts adding to the whole, and your player starts growing until eventually one day you're 45 years old. And by the way, the vast majority of startups are started at the age of 45. Successful startups are started at the age of 45. And all of a sudden you get to the age of 45 and you decide to play a new game. But your character has so much to it. It is so powerful that when you transfer that character to another game, right, you win. You absolutely win. As opposed to another character who's just been playing the game of Africa. And just been playing the game of Africa is, I'm bouncing from east to west. I'm playing the same games over and over and over again. I understand the languages. I understand the cultures. It's just rinse and repeat and do what everybody else is doing. That's not a game to play. That's not a direction. That's not an aim. How do you win at that? You want to win at 80 or 90-year-old, having reached Cairo and having completely fucked life up to the greatest degree that you possibly can, and having achieved everything that you possibly can, and having fulfilled as much potential as you possibly have. And is that not meaning and purpose? So by taking on self-mastery as the ultimate meta goal, I give myself at least a pseudo meaning and purpose. And so if self-mastery is the goal, then the self-mastery quotient, which I guess I've developed over the last 15 years and busy finalizing and quantifying now, That would be the playbook. That would be the game manual. That would be how to. What are the structure and what are the manuals in order to play the game of self-mastery? Now, whether you use me to assist you with self-mastery or not is fairly irrelevant. I think the point is that you should be aiming for Cairo.